I've got quite a good haul here of real cheapies, you know. Some of them are real classics, some of them are slightly more modern, all of them under £20. I think these were all under £15 each. So quite a random haul though. So and these are collective haul. These are from all over the place. So you definitely have to Google these to find the best price, because I've got these at all different times as well. Now this is Sunflowers Sunrise by Elizabeth Arden. I really wanted to get this one after trying L'Occitane. I think it's called Herbe Spartium or something like that. Now that's one that's got lots of broom in it, and it's supposed to be like polleny and, you know, just really kind of, and it is, but there was so much jasmine in that I couldn't really appreciate the broom or the pollen or any of the kind of springiness, because it was very, very heavy in the jasmine. This one also has broom, and it had really good reviews, and I thought, I'm going to try this. So the box is actually more interesting than the actual bottle, I think. But I think this was so cheap. It was probably like £11 or something for a 100ml, and this is an eau de toilette. The sunflower bottles are very uninspiring, but there you go. Now this definitely shares a little bit of DNA with the original sunflowers, if I'm being honest, but it definitely smells a bit more modern, a bit more pretty. This, to me, is a heartbreaker, because on paper and in the bottle I think it smells beautiful. On my skin it smells hideous. So this is a skin chemistry thing here, guys, because it doesn't smell like it does on my skin when it's on the card. Now the notes are top notes of melon, bergamot and mandarin orange, middle notes mimosa, honeysuckle and daisy, base notes cyan, benzoin, narcissus and broom. Now okay, I'm going to spray this out. Oh, it smells honeyed. That's just sniffing it from the sprayer. It is a spring beauty. Oh my god, I am so sad that this doesn't work for me. Oh, it's just glorious. I think the kind of the florals, the narcissus and the kind of melon are what is bringing it back a little bit to the old school, you know, original sunflowers. But I get a lot of honeysuckle. I get a lot of that benzoin. I get some broom. It definitely has this polleny smell to it. It smells like, I mean, let's be real, it smells like a hay fever nightmare, but in perfume form, it's beautiful. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of benzoin there. So it's almost honeyed and sweet, but it's light, it's floral, it's pretty. You get that slight fruit at the beginning, but I don't think the fruit really stays around very long. Mimosa, broom, narcissus, honeysuckle, benzoin. So it's got a warmth, almost slightly spicy because of that benzoin actually. But on my skin, this just turns into straight up woody tar. Like, it just smells mental. I'm just trying to think if there's anything that I can compare it to. Almost the way that Latafas turn for me. They just smell like burnt rubber and kind of, they just get this really weird smell to them, like a woody creosote kind of smell. And that is exactly what happens with this on my skin. It turns into a horrible, bitter wood. It does not do that on card at all. And looking at the reviews of this one, most people seem to get on with it fine. But there's obviously something in it that just does not work on my skin. And it really just smelt awful on me. It really smelt so bad. So, oh, I'm really sad though, because it's so pretty and it's such a beautiful like spring summer smell. But yeah, sadly that one will have to be passed on. I'm actually genuinely really sad about that one. So okay, let's look at another one that I just didn't really get on with. So this is a Chanson de Eau. This is Amaneceur. I think that might mean like sunshine or sunset or something like that. discover a world of freshness. So I have Mar Azul and the original Chanson, and I love both of those perfumes. I use them kind of like body sprays when it's really hot, but they're actually pretty good because they're eau de toilettes. So this was the only kind of currently available version of Chanson that I didn't have, and I saw it pop up on Makeup UK, and I thought I'm going to get that. So I'm just going to spray this out. Bosh. So this one does not smell as different from Mar Azul as I would have hoped it did. So Chanson, the original, you can kind of sense the DNA from the original, but the original, it smells almost like some kind of lime sorbet with like grass sprinkled on top. It's my grassiest perfume, I think, and one of my greenest, but it also dries down into this gorgeous kind of clean laundry kind of smell, but like wet laundry, you know, not the actual powder or the actual detergent, but like when it's already been washed. And then Mar Azul, weirdly, smells almost exactly like Justin Bieber's Collector's Edition, the one that's in the bottle shaped like the key, but is actually a different perfume. That's like an apricot-y perfume. So I was hoping this one would be totally different, but actually this smells also a little bit like Justin Bieber's The Key. Collector's Edition, not The Key. But it's more woody and smells ever so slightly more masculine than Mar Azul, but it smells quite a lot like Mar Azul. So the notes here, top notes of bergamot, pear, dewy grass. Heart notes, orange blossom, gardenia and apricot nectar. Base notes, cedarwood, amber and musk. So it actually, to be fair, shares quite a lot of things with Mar Azul, so the one in the blue bottle. I mean, the one in the blue bottle smells like this colour, do you know what I mean? But so it shares the pear, it shares the apricot, but in that one it's got sandalwood, whereas the cedarwood in this one, to me, it just makes it a little bit more woody. So it's just like a not as nice version of Mar Azul to me. I think Mar Azul's much prettier, but this is still like a really nice freshie. I really, really rate the Chansons. These are by Coty. I really rate these as easy to wear for really high heat. When we have like very hot days, there's not a huge amount of stuff that I'm happy to spray on myself. But I am very happy to spray either of the Chansons that I have. And, you know, I mean, the chances are that if I didn't have Mar Azul, I might keep this one. But yeah, I definitely prefer the sandalwood to the cedarwood. So this one I'm probably just going to pass on. But I'm glad I got to smell it because it's been driving me mad. I wanted to smell this one for ages. But yeah, it turns out it's almost exactly the same as Mar Azul, just not as nice. So that one's not staying. I have been looking at this for a really long time. This is Casmir. I'm not sure if you're supposed to call it cashmere or it's spelled Casmir, but it's got a little accent above the S, so I'm not entirely sure I'm pronouncing that right. This is by Chopard. So this is a bit of a classic, quite vintage perfume. But the thing for me, really, I'm not going to lie, I just love this bottle. I think this bottle is so charming, and I want it in my little display. Look at the beauty. I mean, it looks tiny here. I mean, I did get the small one because I was trying to be sensible. I think this was about £11, so really, really affordable. There's details at the bottom. I think this is an eau de parfum. Yes, indeed. I love this bottle. I think they're vintage and beautiful. I love these bottles. So, I also like the colour of the box. This is such a weird perfume. It's so strange, and my feelings about it, I mean, I don't know at the moment, so I'm going to spray some out. It's got a bit of a colour to this one. You have to watch it if you're wearing it with white clothing. Absolutely adore that bottle. Think it's charming and gorgeous. It looks very small right now, doesn't it? Let's see if we can brighten this up a little bit. It should be all right. So, God damn, this is weird. This is so weird, but I don't dislike it, but it's really strange. So the notes here are top notes of peach, coconut, mango, bergamot and fruits, whatever that means. Middle notes geranium, jasmine, floral notes and lily of the valley. Base notes vanilla, amber, sandalwood, musk, patchouli and woody notes. So the votes on this have vanilla at the top, followed by peach, then amber, then sandalwood, then coconut, then mango, then musk. And then not far behind musk is patchouli. And the top floral is geranium. So I'm not entirely sure I agree that vanilla is the top smell here at all. This is so weird. It's so weird. I get a lot of the patchouli, I get a lot of geranium, and mixing with a mango and peach that gives it a kind of sickly apricot jam smell about it. And it's got quite a perfumey vanilla, but there's something about the coconut mixing with that vanilla that stops it smelling too much like, for me, like Vanilla Fields or something like really perfumey vanilla, because I don't like a perfumey vanilla. Really powdery, old-fashioned sandalwood, but it smells like plastic dolls from when I was a kid, as in like baby dolls, possibly Cabbage Patch dolls. I can't really remember precisely. I'm just thinking about thick, squishy baby doll arms that are kind of hollow and you can squish, you know. It really smells, I mean, I think on Fragrantica I described it as like a very dry and out of date cake with a very sickly, sugary apricot jam on a melting plastic plate. And that's kind of the best that I can do for describing this. Like, it's so weird, but I can see why people like it at the same time. Whether I can wear this and whether I will like it, I have tried it on my skin, but I only put a tiny bit on because it's been hot weather, so I didn't think it would be fair to really go ham with this. I need to put it away until it's cold. But there's something enthralling about it, even though at the same time I think it's not particularly nice. It's really hard to explain my feelings on this. And I think it's a very hard to explain perfume. I think it's going to be a really, really tricky one. It's not a safe blind buy unless you're just liking to experiment with vintage perfumes. It's so weird. But I would suggest, if you've been interested in this because you think it looks like quite an interesting jumble of all kinds of mad notes, you like the idea of a kind of fruity, vanilla-y floral that's got some coconut in, you know, that kind of thing, that's got a slight tropical vibe, I would say you're safer with Avon's Far Away. That is quite a tropical floral that's got a really custardy vanilla and it's got coconut in it, and there is a slight fruitiness, but it's super pretty. It's easy to wear. Around about it's cheaper because you get more of it, but it's not far, you know, you can still get it for about a tenner. But if you have been fooled by reviews and people talking about this into thinking that this is going to smell like a yummy vanilla sponge with like a lovely jammy topping, like a peachy jam, then I would say no. This is a very old-fashioned gourmand. It has gourmand elements to it, but it's super perfumey. And I would say that that's the sandalwood, the perfumey vanilla, and quite a prominent patchouli. Now, I don't really like patchouli, but patchouli in more old school perfumes, I mean, I should say, I don't like the patchouli you get in fruit choulis, and I don't like the kind of Mugler patchouli. This is a kind of really old school, earthy, powdery patchouli. But if that's what you were looking for, if that's what you were hoping for, I would say try Lolita Lempicka LolitaLand, because that actually does smell like a spiced cake covered in apricot jam and covered in a lovely kind of vanilla custard. So if that's what you're looking for, something that's truly gourmand, that has those kind of elements, this is not going to be for you. This is weirdly plasticky, smoky, earthy, tangy, sickly sweet. It's really sugary. And that's what I mean. I would not have put necessarily vanilla at the top because I'm not really sure that this is dominant enough in vanilla. I think it's just very sweet. It's like the fruits in this are so sweet. It's fascinating. I mean, that it's one of those patchoulis where it almost starts to smell like mint. You know, it gets that kind of herbal vibe to it. Yeah, I can't stop smelling it, but I also think if I wore it, it would make me feel sick. So we're going to have to see how I get on with this and if I feel differently about it in cold weather, because it's super interesting. It's one of the most interesting things I've smelled in a very long time. So that's going into my little box with all my try it at a different time of year. And speaking of which, I've got another one I'm going to have to try at a different time of year, which is this Bon 100 Carvi and Jardin de Figuier, which is like a fig perfume. Now, I saw this one ages ago and I was really interested in trying it. I thought, oh, it looks kind of fascinating. So I've just got this little one. I'm just going to take it out of here. How did I get it out? There we go. I got this for quite a cheap price on, I think it was Health Farm, this one. They had a few of these, and I mean, I can literally still smell it, and I've had this for months. So you can see it's got this nice colour to it. This is the intense version, so this is the concentrate. What does it actually call them? I think it just calls them concentrate. So you can get a lighter version of this, but I thought people are always whinging about these perfumes not being strong enough, so I thought, well, it's the same price to get the like heavier one, so I thought I'd go for this. But woof, this is actually strong. Yeah, definitely. Oh God, I've definitely got to keep this till winter. This is strong. It's sweet. It's heady. It smells thick. It's sweet. It really does smell like fig. You can really smell the fig. But I will read you the other notes. It's kind of magical, but I think this could be incredibly sickly for some people and possibly me. So again, that's why I have to try it in warmer weather. So the top notes are fig, and I really smell that fig. It's a good fig, a jammy but slightly green fig. Raspberry, mandarin orange. Middle notes of violet, jasmine and rose. I'm not really sure I can smell much over that fig, to be honest. I don't know that I get a huge amount of florals here. And then the base notes are whipped cream and cedar. Now, like I said, this is almost like, it's almost like you've got a really dried, crystallized fig with a fresh fig, because it's so sweet. And the creaminess just makes it thicker, you know? Yeah, I mean, maybe the florals are there, but to be honest, I can just really smell that fig. A really fruity, juicy, but sticky fig with some greenness and then a real whipped cream going on. And I mean, the fig is way stronger than the cream. It's just that the cream is making the fig a little bit creamy and even kind of sweeter and richer. That's what I'd say about this. This is rich. But it's another one I can't stop smelling. So it's going in my cupboard. If you really like sweet perfumes and you love fig, I think you would love this. But if you struggle with, I struggle with fig sometimes smelling too earthy and a bit dirty. I think this one has missed that. I don't think it has that issue. But my goodness, it's so rich. My God. So yeah, definitely going to try that in cold weather, because I think that might really shine in very cold weather, you know. So, I've put it in upside down. So yeah, really interesting, that one. It has sort of made me think I'd like to try others from this brand, but at the same time, there's not really any that have been calling out to me. That was the only one that I was massively interested in. So then this is a super random one. This is just one that I saw when I was buying my, what are they called? I got my 4711s from... I nearly said the right. I think it's Perfume Dreams. I think that's where I got those from. So I think they have to come over from Europe because it's really difficult to get the new 4711 Aqua Colonias over here. So I'd had all three of these. There were three on there by this company called Care, and I thought these look quite interesting. They talked about kind of lovely recycled vegan ingredients, nice and clean fragrance. As you can see, no colorants, none of this stuff. I just thought they seemed really nice, and they reminded me a little bit of clean perfumes, you know, in terms of the styling and how they've done everything. My God, it's hard to smell anything now that I've smelled that fig one. Woof! I'm telling you, it's so strong. I almost think for me, as fussy as I am, I probably should have got the not intense version of that. But anyway, back to this. So there's three of these, and I had them all in my wish list on Perfume Dreams, but just because this one was called Second Skin, I thought I'm going to go for this, but I probably should have checked better on Fragrantica. So I'll give you the notes. I'll take it out first. Okay. Cute bottles, as you can see, really simplistic, really pretty, quite stylish, you know, nice and simple. So the notes of Second Skin from Care are, have they not got the... Well, that's a little bit annoying that it doesn't actually have the name of the scent on it, but anyway, this is called Second Skin. So top notes are pear, raspberry and lemon. Middle notes are peony, peach blossom and iris. Base notes are vanilla and oak. Now, I just thought that sounded quite interesting. I'm so sad about this. Well, I'm not that sad. It wasn't expensive. It was really cheap. I think I really mainly bought it because I wanted free shipping. So I can't complain too much. But this smells like Flowerbomb. Don't ask me how, but it smells like Flowerbomb. It's like, it doesn't list patchouli, and I don't know if I feel like there's patchouli in it purely because Flowerbomb is such a fruit chili, you know. It's like, it's so strong in the patchouli, that because that profile is so recognizable that I just smell this and think it smells like it's got patchouli in it. But it smells like Flowerbomb. It smells like a lighter, less aggressive, easier Flowerbomb. And Flowerbomb, along with Olivier Belle, which this is also compared to, is my most hated perfume of all time. I hate that perfume. I can't wear it. I can't bear it. So I'm already regretting spraying this again. This is not one I will keep, but I might actually ask my vegan friend if she wants this, because she used to wear Flowerbomb. She very respectfully didn't wear it when we lived together, when I was with her. But she is vegan, and she's vegan now anyway. So she might like this. I might gift this to her because if she still likes that scent profile, and as this is a clean fragrance, a clean vegan fragrance, then she might be up for it. I don't know whether this is, I mean, it's kind of put me off wanting to smell the others. I really should have gone for the one that's got like, I think it's got blood orange and turmeric or something like that in it, and I regret not getting that one. But if these are any kind of dupes, then I'm kind of less interested in them, to be honest. But anyway, so that one will go to my lovely friend Fern. So then we've got a little Vanderbilt section now, because these are such cheap perfumes. I have the original Gloria Vanderbilt. I might just put these all up. So we've got Jardin à New York. We've got Minuit à New York. And then we've got Miss Vanderbilt. So I really wanted to be able to get these in the smaller bottles, but I couldn't get them, and they were so cheap that I just thought, okay, fine. Now I'm going to talk about them in this order. So this is a Minuit à New York. So Minute à New York. Oh, my pronunciation is awful. So it doesn't really say anything. This one has been recommended to me a couple of times, I think. And I don't like this perfume at all. So it can go it can go a few ways when it comes to a tuberose perfume for me. Now, that's what this is. The original also has, I think, a bit of tuberose in it, if I remember correctly. That one reminds me a little bit of kind of a lighter, not quite a sweet version of Poem by Lancôme, but it's got this kind of pineapple-y vibe to it. It does smell very vintage, but it's kind of pretty. I've got a 100ml bottle of that. I am going to declutter it, but only because I don't need that much. So that one I'm just going to take a little decant and then I'm going to sell it on. What I'll probably do is I'll do a Vanderbilt bundle for someone, you know, because I do quite like that, but it's not one I'm going to reach for very often. It's got quite an 80s smell to it, but it's a really pretty one. So Minuit New York comes in exactly the same bottle as the OG, but as you can see, it's got this lovely pink liquid. So the notes in this are top notes of tuberose, pink peony and white lily, middle notes of gardenia, jasmine, violet and hyacinth, base notes sandalwood, amberwood, patchouli and suede. So quite interesting notes in this one. Let's see if I can find something to spray this on so I can talk about it. Tuberose perfumes can be tricky for me because sometimes I like them, sometimes I despise them, and it normally depends on what else is in the mix, you know. So this one was going to be a risk for me because it's got patchouli and suede. It also has gardenia and jasmine, which sometimes with tuberose just turns it into something I can't abide. This reminds me of the kind of Gucci blooms of the Kim Kardashian, the original one. There's something about it that I can't get along with, and I think the patchouli is a big part of that. It's quite light and inoffensive, and I mean, if you like the kind of classic tuberosy white florals, you know, and you like those classic patchouli wood bases, you know, it's just, is buttery the word I'm looking for? It's just not, I really do think it might be like that mixture of gardenia and tuberose I just don't like. Because I do often struggle with that. I definitely had that with that Kim Kardashian one. I've definitely had that with other tuberose perfumes. But if you don't have that problem, this is a bargain. It's super pretty. It's not hugely strong. So it's probably really easy to wear. It's really affordable. But yeah, like I said, it's just not, it's not quite for me, you know. Massive, but they're so thin. It always fascinates me. They're so thin, but they're so wide, you know. So anyway, so that's Minuit and New York, and I definitely not keeping that one. It's not for me. So then we have Jardin and New York, and this one I was not interested in the notes at all, but what I was interested in was what everyone was saying about it, and people were really talking about how this is a lovely sweet green perfume. Oh good, I've actually got a thing in here. So as you can imagine, this one is green. It's very green, look at that. And the original is very yellow. I probably should have got that out to compare it, but okay. I'm going to spray this one. Oof, my bedroom smells crazy, but honestly, the fig is still the strongest. Okay. So this is top notes gardenia, petitgrain, middle notes jasmine, neroli, peony, base notes cedar and amber. So this one is a kind of classic soapy green floral, green and white, you know, green leaves, white florals, you know. I don't have strong feelings about this perfume, so I've tried it on my skin and it's okay. It's not my favourite, but I don't dislike it. So I think the petitgrain and neroli are quite high in this, but it's not too sharp, you know what I mean? There's no fruit in it, so it's got it does smell a bit like a garden. It's one that I think I will need to try again. It's one that I'm going to probably put in a little box. I might give it another spray, try it in different seasons and different moods, but I can see why people like this. It's just a question for me of whether I would reach for this over other kind of green perfumes, because I have loads of different perfumes that I consider to be green. And this one is quite kind of soapy, clean, pretty, but I don't know that it would ever be my favourite, if you see what I mean. So it's cute. I like it. I would happily recommend it, but I'm undecided on that one at the moment. It is quite green. It really does smell like leaves and branches on top of, the actual flowers. So, okay, last but not least, we have the little Vanderbilt Mist Vanderbilt. So this one, happily, I could get a smaller bottle of, and it's my kind of bottle because it's a rose gold. Very cute, pretty. A little cutie. I mean, it has to be said, the swan is looking a little bit more derpy on this one, isn't she? God bless her. She's a little bit less elegant than the other ones. Okay, so let me just spray this. Ooh. It's a long video, this one. So, there's a lot of perfumes. So, Miss Vanderbilt, instantly quite sweet, a little bit powdery. There's definitely some kind of fruits going on in here. It's vanilla-y. It's definitely got some ylang ylang, and that's one of the things I was interested in here. Okay, so I'm going to read you the notes. There's quite a lot of them. So the top notes are clementine, bergamot, neroli and hawthorn. Now I've got a brocade perfume with hawthorn in, and I kind of like that smell. I don't really know how to describe it, but I kind of like it. Middle notes, ylang ylang rose, tuberose, cardamom, nutmeg, magnolia and cloves. Base notes, heliotrope, vanilla, musk, sandalwood and tonka bean. So, I would say heliotrope is really high here. Ylang ylang's quite high. Vanilla is very high. Musk is very high. And then sandalwood and tonka bean, I'd say. I think when you first spray it, you do get that vibe of clementine, bergamot. You do get that kind of juiciness. But I think the heliotrope, vanilla, ylang ylang, musk. And then a powdery sandalwood, because this one, to me, it reminds me a little bit of a non-lavendery Burberry Brit Rhythm, and a little bit of my soon-to-be gone Jill Sander Softly Eau de Petals. Now that's got rose and it's got cherry blossom, but it smells like a body lotion. This smells like a body lotion. Burberry Brit Rhythm smells like a body lotion. I actually have a little bottle of that as well. So this has a real kind of creamy, musky, bar soapy smell to it that kind of smells a little bit like it turns into like body lotion smell. And it's quite powdery. It's really sweet, but it's got some brightness in it still. It's not like too sickly sweet. So I think, I mean, this is not the kind of perfume that I like to wear in summer. I don't like lotiony smells in summer. So this is also going to go into my cupboard, and I'm going to have a sniff of it. I'm going to have a think about it. I'm going to test it when I want a cozy, like, kind of more autumnal, wintry smell. Now, I know a lot of people wouldn't feel like this about a kind of nice floral, kind of slightly fruity, sweet, bright perfume, but it is so lotiony that this is definitely not something I would wear in hot weather. That's very personal. I can get a slight hint of those spices, but I think the spices are really subtle. Yeah, this is pretty. It reminds me randomly of quite a few things that I have or have had or, have smelt. But I think it's really cute. It's very affordable. And I think it might be a really good alternative if you... I mean, unfortunately, there isn't anything I've smelt that smells exactly like Burberry Brit Rhythm, because that has a really specific kind of slightly sugary sweetness along with that lavender. But I think if you miss that and you want to try other kind of lotiony like sweet floral lotion perfumes, this would be a really, really safe bet to try it because it's so cheap. Yeah, I think it's really cute. I quite like that one. But if you don't like heliotrope, you're not going to like it because I think there's a lot of heliotrope in this. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's cute. So that is everything. That's my big old cheapy haul. As I said, everything I'm pretty sure was under £20, possibly under 15. So all bargains. There's not really, I don't think, anything that I think is actually rubbish. You know what I mean? I think they're all perfectly good. It's just some of them aren't for me. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful if you've been looking at any of these. Bye, guys.